Hi everyone and welcome to my kitchen. My name is Rosanna and today we're making some delicious spare ribs in a guajillo red chili sauce. I've made this recipe with my mother, which was passed down to her by my grandmother, and I'm truly honored to be able to share it with you. So let's get started. The first step to making this dish is cooking the ribs. In a large deep pot, add 5 pounds of short pork spare ribs. Short spare ribs is what's commonly used due to its incredible flavor, and the size makes for an easy cooking experience. Next, add salt. I'm adding 1 tablespoon and also pour in 3/4 of a cup of water. Cover and place over medium-high heat for approximately 30 minutes. While that's cooking, I will keep it moving and prep the dried chilies. I'm going to use 3 types, starting with chile guajillo. We're going to need 15 of the guajillo chilies, 10 Puya chilies, and for some heat, 3 chiles de árbol. Dried guajillo chilies are commonly used in Mexican cuisine. Guajillos vary in heat, but are mostly mild. If you live in Mexico, they may be hotter. If you enjoy cooking Mexican food, these definitely have to be part of your pantry because they are popular and are frequently used to make incredible dishes and sauces. The dried Puya chilies look similar to the very popular guajillo chili. Some of the main differences are Puya is hotter, smaller, and thinner. Lastly, we are also adding 3 chiles de árbol. These are small but are hot. They are used to bring heat to your dish if desired. Okay, we have talked about the dried chilies and their heat content. The good news is that you can reduce some of it by simply removing the seeds and veins from the inside. Let me show you how to do that. Remove the stem and with a good pair of kitchen scissors, make a cut starting from one end to the other and open. Remove the veins and seeds. If you have kitchen gloves and feel more comfortable using them, you can do so. Do the same with all the Puya chilies, and if you prefer a dish mild in heat, you can omit the chile de árbol from this recipe since we are using them to add an extra touch of heat. Let's check on the ribs. 30 minutes have passed and the juices released together with the water have now reached a boil. Go ahead and stir. During the cooking process, feel free to carefully stir in the meat as needed. Cover but leave a small opening to allow some of the steam out. This way the juices start to reduce. Lower the heat to medium-low and continue cooking for an additional hour. Place a skillet or comal over low heat, the lowest setting you have. Toasting the chilies will add depth to flavor, and that's exactly what we want. Place in the skillet and toast until they start to become fragrant. Please note, if you burn them, they will turn bitter and ruin your sauce, so be mindful of that. You want to lightly toast both sides for a few seconds, so make sure you don't leave them there for too long or they could burn or develop dark spots. I like to add them in small amounts. This gives me enough time to work with them and obtain the outcome I need. The chiles de árbol are so small they won't take long to be ready. Once all of them are toasted, rinse and drain them. Then place them in a clean bowl where they fit nicely. If some of them seem too crowded, you can cut them in half. Now add hot water until all the chilies are completely covered. This is going to rehydrate them. While that's happening, let's move on to the spices. I'm using the oh so loved and treasured molcajete. If you don't own a molcajete, prep your spices and I will let you know later on how to incorporate them. To the molcajete, add 3 large garlic cloves and mash. Next, add 1 teaspoon of whole cumin, 1 teaspoon of dried oregano, 5 cloves, and lastly, 24 black whole peppers. Resume mashing until you have a smooth paste. Add 1/4 cup of water to the paste in order to merge all the flavors that may still be on the side of the molcajete and set aside until we need it, which will be very, very soon. Ta-da! The chilies are hydrated, soft, and ready to be blended. If you did not have a molcajete, you will need to add the spices with the soft chilies into the blender together with 2 cups of the water we soaked them in. If you did mash the spices in the molcajete, only blend the chilies and water. Go ahead and blend until smooth. I'm going to add an additional cup of the same water because it's going to need it. By the way, I'm going to leave the list of ingredients down in the description area together with the amounts needed. Keep an eye on it and make sure it's thick and still blendable. The hour has passed. Let's take a look at the ribs. The water should have evaporated at this point and the ribs are now left with a generous amount of fat at the bottom of the pot. Allow them to fry uncovered for an additional 15 minutes and crank the heat to medium, allowing them to slightly brown. Meanwhile, I'm going to strain the sauce. Ideally, you want to have your sauce strained and ready when the ribs are going through the final fry. This way you don't fall behind. Take a look at the consistency of the sauce so you know exactly how yours is supposed to look. Finally, add 1/2 cup of water to the blender in order to get the last bit of sauce and strain. The ribs look so good and tender. Look at the amount of fat on the bottom of the pot. If it's a lot, remove some of it. All you need is a small amount just to give a nice flavor and saute the sauce when poured in. This is how much I've left. Turn the heat to medium-low and add in the sauce and carefully fold it into the ribs. Also, spoon in the paste from the molcajete. Pour a small amount of water into the molcajete to get the last of the paste and pour into the pot. Mix again to incorporate and taste. If it needs salt, add some as well. Lastly, add a small sprig of yerba buena or mint and allow it to keep cooking for another 5 to 8 minutes on medium-low heat and on a low simmer. If the heat seems too high, bring it down to low heat. Remove from the stove when the sauce has thickened a bit more and turned a deeper and darker color. By the way, I love the ribs drenched in the sauce. You can accompany this dish with Mexican rice and refried beans. I'll leave the links to these recipes down in the description area along with other items I'm using in this video. The ribs add so much flavor and I love how tender they turn out. It pairs perfectly with all the spices and the incredible red sauce makes this dish one of a kind. To open up the flavors even more, feel free to squeeze some lime juice over the ribs in the guajillo sauce. I've cooked, now I'm ready to taste. But before I do so, I want to invite you to subscribe. As always, give us a like and don't forget to click the notification bell. Let's do this. I'm just gonna make me a taco. Let's make sure I don't get a bone in there. Break a teeth, we don't want that. All right. Oops. And then you can drizzle some lime juice over it. Wow. Oh my God, this right here is truly amazing. I feel like it keeps me connected to my family and our culture, and I'm so glad I get to share it with you. Well, I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Remember that you can follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing rest of your day.